Louis David from New Orleans Business Alliance. This is our first virtual site tour for 2022. We're talking today about new food spaces in New Orleans. We have actually done a virtual site tour about potential food spaces in the city about a year and a half ago, but the 3 sites we will be virtually touring today are really all brand new, mostly from the beginning of the year, and they are awesome sites for food entrepreneurs, folks who are looking for food production sites or food businesses that need office space, or kind of anybody in the restaurant industry that's looking for that kind of back office space. So I think it's an awesome topic, and it's awesome to see that since we've been doing this series, it's evolved enough to where we're kind of doubling back and revisiting topics and seeing all the new things that are in the market. So I wanted to go over today's agenda. I realized as I was putting this together earlier today, I was like, man, I always try to include some history of the industry or the part of town in that we're talking about. And then I guess I had forgotten that I was a history minor in undergrad. We'll talk a little bit about what food means to New Orleans and what it has for more than 300 years. We'll talk about some of the legacy food brands that are in New Orleans, some of the next generation brands that we've seen make some big moves. And then we're actually going to do 2 video tours today. The first one at Codys NOLA at their new kitchen commissary space that Sinidra literally just got the keys to yesterday. So thankfully she was able to let us take a look inside. We'll see that, as well as El Guapo's got new space as of just a few months ago, and they're looking for some tenants to join them in Mid-City. And then Zach Foster will join us from Louisiana Pepper Exchange, and I have some photos of the space that they've got on Tchoupitoulas in the Uptown area, which is kind of, that area has always been industrial and always been a food production space, but really has been an anchor of some of the new food brands that are really making a lot of waves and bringing a lot of attention to food in New Orleans. And then we'll have questions and answers. This is the last time I'm going to brag about this. I did this last time, but I'm going to do it one more time just because I know a lot of y'all weren't with us in November. Thank you to Valerie and the team at NOLA BA. We won a International Economic Development a silver award for this series. They were looking for economic development organizations that had pivoted and started doing new things in the pandemic, especially about showing off parts of their community. And Valerie's been an awesome help, as well as Chandra and lots of my other NOLA BA colleagues, as well as everybody who's in this ecosystem. So we're real proud that this was recognized at a national level. And that's the last time I'm going to talk about it. Okay. So this is a picture of the riverfront in New Orleans in the 1800s. And, it's funny to see that you see much fewer ships in the river today, but they're carrying so much more. One ship probably carries double of everything that you see on the screen back then. So, but as most of you know, food's always been a part of New Orleans, and not just in how we prepare it and how we share it at the dinner table, but also the commerce of food. New Orleans was chosen as a site, as a trading hub, because we're basically some of the first firm ground when you come up the Mississippi River from the Gulf of Mexico, and the French said, hey, if we want to go further up in this river and check out what's up there and grow food and sustain our colony, we need to control this port or this site that we think can be a good port at the mouth of the Mississippi River, as far enough inland to be able to be stable, but also still a good access point. And of course, Bayou St. John and the linkage to Lake Pontchartrain was a big part of that. So in 1803, that is the date of Louisiana Purchase. And basically, the Louisiana Purchase was driven by, or one of the reasons why it went through, is a number of farmers in the Ohio River Valley and Kentucky really wanted to make sure that the United States had control of the Mississippi River, because that was the easiest way to get their product out to market. So the food and the other agricultural products that were growing, even all the way up, you know, in areas that were much physically closer to the East Coast than us, knew that they needed to get to the Mississippi and out of New Orleans to be able to get their product out efficiently to really the rest of the world. In 1896, the Port of New Orleans Commission was founded by the state legislature, and that was kind of the point where everyone in the political level said, okay, trade is so important to New Orleans that some of these powers need to be consolidated. So a lot of trade comes through the Port of New Orleans. In fact, we are the largest poultry port in America. A lot of that is chicken and chicken parts coming from, you know, kind of the big chicken growing areas in Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, coming through New Orleans and headed out to the world. So it's really cool to see that we've always had a legacy in food. And, you know, I think a lot of these brands on your screen are brands that people across the nation and really across the world will recognize. In fact, one of them, Miss Loretta from Loretta's Pralines, she passed away yesterday. I just found that out earlier this morning. You know, what a legend in putting pralines, and especially not just making pralines, but also packaging them and making them ready for export and making them available for us to share with the whole country and the whole world, and people really being able to take home a piece of New Orleans. So that's a huge legacy that she leaves. But I know her company and her family will continue. I'm sure they will continue on. But you know, a lot of these other brands that you see up here are family brands. We were with the Riley folks earlier this week, talking about some expansion plans. You know, Zatarain's is now owned by McCormick, big multinational company, but all of their advertising heavily features New Orleans. You know, we are kind of how they sell their brand, and they still employ tons of folks just over the river in Gretna at their manufacturing facility. So all of these are brands that, you know, even though some of them were not, you know, Folgers is not born in New Orleans, but every coffee bean sold in America under the Folgers label is roasted in New Orleans East. So we've got such an awesome legacy, and these are brands that a lot of people instantly connect with New Orleans, and the Sazerac House opening on Canal Street is just a great opportunity for us to further push that connection to the folks who visit us. But of course, I spend most of my time working with some of the companies that are on this screen. Big Easy Bucha is probably one of the biggest successes we've had locally regarding a food and beverage company in New Orleans. They were purchased late last year by a Central American company that really sees their footprint in New Orleans as the beginning of their expansion into the United States. So it's so exciting that brands, you know, and all of these brands really, like, if you just have no idea what they produce, if you take away like the sake part of wetland sake, if you take the chicken out, or the grassroots, well, but they're instantly New Orleans. They jump out at you. So it's exciting to see these companies take the New Orleans brand, continue its legacy into different products, and continue to push into different markets. But we want to make sure that there are spaces in New Orleans for the folks who are at this level and maybe a couple steps below, that they have a way to grow their businesses. And that's what we're here to talk about today, places where they can do that. So I wanted to kick off our first presentation of a space. This is the brand new space, Codys NOLA, their commissary. They just got the keys yesterday. And I want to go ahead and play a quick video with Sanidra, the founder, before we talk to her about some of their future plans. So let me jump out of here. That is the El Guapo. Turn up the volume. I have to press. Let's see. That one. And then I need to do share the. Shoot. How do I share the sound again? Let's see. And share sound. Got it. Here we go.
My name is Sinedra Taylor. I am the owner of Crazy Waffle Bar, but most importantly right now, Codys NOLA. We are a commissary and co-op. Believe it or not, I just signed the lease today, so you all have the first look. We will expand, but starting out, we're looking for food trucks who need a culinary home. And then our second priority tenant will be bakers. Just being able to bake and take their goods, whether they're placing them, in stores or wherever. And then we're looking for a small amount of tenants who will operate out of this space as a ghost kitchen. Codys is like the baby of all of the barriers that I face to scaling Crazy Waffle Bar. So access to affordable commercial kitchen space, access to specialized education without having to go to culinary art school. Every entrepreneur that faced a barrier through COVID, before COVID, their 2023 will look different. It'll be better. It'll be improved. And so can't help but be excited about that, right?
Awesome. So you can tell Sinedra is very excited about her business, but welcome to the virtual site tour. I wanted to tell everybody where your facility is. It's at 4228 Eve Street, which I had to look up, but it's actually in a super accessible location, right where Earhart and Napoleon and Broad all come together in the Broadmoor area. You're right behind a number of other food businesses. The big city liquor distributor is your neighbor right on the other side of the street. Sinedra, tell us a little bit about, I think tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got here and what you're excited to do at this new facility.
Absolutely. So really quickly, in 2018, I worked in education, specifically in special education compliance. So summer of 2018, I see Ms. Clefani on the call. I joined Ms. Clefani at the Catapult program with Jazz Festival Foundation to grow and scale Crazy Waffle Bar. Once you start putting together a business plan, you realize everything that you don't know, and then when you start to address those barriers, you realize how much it truly costs and what all it takes. So transitioning from education to the food industry was a major leap for me. Definitely stretched myself and faced a lot of, just curves in my education. So some things were connected, some things are just specialized information. As I came to meet with other food entrepreneurs who had been in the space longer than I had, they had the same barriers. Because a lot of people just have the passion for food and cooking, and not necessarily those back office skills that are required to scale a business, and oftentimes get inundated in their businesses where they are constantly working in them and not on them. And so Codys is a solution to that in the sense that we have the kitchen space, and the goal is to make it sliding scale and affordable so that they can access the kitchen space, become licensed, and obtain the occupational licenses, but also get on the fast track to the educational pieces that are missing. So I always look at our knowledge is like Swiss cheese, however, piece of Swiss cheese is different, like have holes in different areas, and so where I might be full, another person might have a hole and vice versa. And so we can collectively working in the same space, fill those holes, but also bring in our partners will bring in specialists who can help us because they have that specialized knowledge. So bringing together organizations who are already doing the case management work with entrepreneurs in general, but we provide in a specialized for food entrepreneurs in one space and with access to a kitchen. So collectively really addressing all of the ills and all of the barriers that prevent us from scaling our business. And I think something that I always like to draw attention to is like, oftentimes, even I've even said it myself, like in finance, I want someone who's better than me in finance that can help me with my finances. But in this situation is different in the sense that I'm on the same level with a lot of my entrepreneurs and we're doing it together. And so I'm like, this is the one time that I can only, like, that I can think about where it feels okay to be learning and growing together, because we're tapping into the resources that are helping us scale and scale up. So I'm hoping that, Codys will produce, the next generational legacy restaurants, like the new Copelands, and you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope I answered all of your questions. I know I just get excited and start talking.
Yeah, no, it's a good time to get excited. So if you're a food entrepreneur who's watching this and you have an idea and maybe a product that you're making it out of your house and they're interested in your facility, when are you going to be open? What kind of tenants are you looking for? What can people do?
Yeah, so at this location, so we currently own a building that we are going through construction on, but this location specifically, we're going to start off with the tenants that can afford to lease at market rate. So starting off with bakers and food trucks, specifically food trucks who may have a full kitchen and they just need to come in, prep, and use our refrigeration or storage options. But we're not limited, but for I guess, March through maybe like October, is the projected time that we're really going to focus on bringing those in. And then towards the end of the year, we can bring in additional food entrepreneurs like the caterers or those who need access to I need to make multiple cooking stations available. And right now, the space is not outfitted for that.
Gotcha. So it feel like to actually take a step where you're an entrepreneur facing challenges rather, what's it feel like to be able to maybe help some people avoid some of those challenges?
I'm going to be honest, it feels really good because the city of New Orleans has vowed to kind of like crack down on those unpermitted vendors. And so we have to figure out different ways to address a problem. So we have to start looking at solutions, and Codys is like a solution to that problem. We are creating a new space. I mean, because we have commissaries in New Orleans, but many of them are really booked. I mean, there are a plethora of different types of food entrepreneurs in the city of New Orleans. We could open up 4 more kitchens and there will still be a need. So it feels good to be filling in the gap, to really be able to, and literally and figuratively, stand in the gap for not only for myself, but others. So, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's definitely fulfilling work, and it makes like everything you go through worth it.
Awesome. So if people are interested in your spaces, how can they get in touch with you?
They can get in contact with us by reaching out at www.codysnola.com. It's CODEYSNOLA.com. You can also email me at Sinedra@codysnola.com. It's SINNIDRA@CODEYSNOLA.com.
And hopefully by March, you'll be able to have folks in the building producing stuff.
Yes, if permitting and everything goes as planned, March is our month, should I say.
Awesome. Well, Sinedra, thank you for joining us, and we'll keep your contact information. And can you stick around if we have any questions and answers toward the end?
Absolutely, I'll be here.
All right, thank you. And we're actually going to move just kind of like right on the other side of I-10 to the new El Guapo space on Gravier Street. They are right near Norman C. Francis and Tulane. Also an amazing location, like right in the middle of the city. You're able to get anywhere from that Mid-City Broadmoor area. And Krista Cotton joins us this afternoon. Welcome, Krista.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hello. So I got to cue your video up, but can you tell us just a little bit about the El Guapo story and how you guys got to where you are, and then we'll show your new space?
Sure. So I helped my parents start a distillery in Georgia while I was in college at Auburn. And after working in advertising and on or in TV production for Bravo and Top Chef, I purchased the trademark to El Guapo and started my own LLC in 2017. So it's been 4.5 years, and we're now in 49 states and 3 countries. And I just moved from 3,000 square feet on Tchoupitoulas into 35,000 square feet on Gravier. And we are in the process of building a non-alcoholic bitters brewery, which is quite the challenge, but also a lot of fun.
And where do you guys sell, and what's your primary market?
So we are servicing the upper end of the market. We built our supply chain from the ground up. So Neiman Marcus and Whole Foods are both customers. We just launched our first national partnership in all 258 world markets around the country.
Awesome.
And we're working on a few more exciting announcements that'll be coming out later this year.
Awesome. Hold up, I'm pulling up your thing right now. All right, great, perfect timing. Yeah, okay, I'll reshare my screen. There we go. And let's take a tour of that new space.
Hello, I'm Krista Cotton, the CEO of El Guapo, and we have just moved into a new 35,000 square foot warehouse in Mid-City. We are in the process of building a non-alcoholic bitters brewery and looking for a co-tenant to take over the other half of our building while we continue to grow. The entire building is about 35,000 square feet. We are taking over roughly half. So the warehouse portion will hold our final inventory and be where we actually bottle and brew all of our products. We now make bitters, syrups, and mixers, and we are looking for a tenant that wants to share bathrooms and a kitchen, but take over the office space on the other side for roughly 3 to 5 years. Really, anybody that needs Class A office space and wants to be in a symbiotic environment and a company that would benefit from being in an opportunity zone is the perfect fit for us as well. Still feels really crazy. We moved from 3,000 square feet to 35,000 square feet. I find myself showing up every day and still asking myself if this is reality. But I am very excited for the next phase of our company, and we're super excited to be building our business in Orleans Parish.
That's so cool. I love it. Let me make sure the audio checks out. So I think it is really cool to point out the history of that building. That was I think that was one of the first places where like telegrams would come into New Orleans. That was an AT&T facility. And I was told, and I may be wrong, but that warehouse that like looks like a barn that we showed, that's where they kept the horses that would come in. Yeah.
So in all of our research, when one of the articles came out, and there have been a lot, and I can't remember which one, but one of the local architect firms reached out, and it turns out that they had been the architect on that building for, I think, 75 years. And they had all of the original files in their possession, and they have like the old linen drawings. And originally that square was the malaria hospital on the outskirts of New Orleans. And then it became AT&T, or Bell South, which then became AT&T, but it was Bell South and AT&T for over 100 years. And that barn was the original part of the building where the horses and carriages were stored.
Wow, that's crazy. And it's crazy that you're using the same facility to like export a New Orleans product to the world. So tell us who would be your ideal tenant? We talked a little bit about it, but like, what would be a really fun tenant in your facility?
So anybody that needs office space, we just want to really stress that the production part of it is pretty much taken over by our business itself. Currently, we're in a situation where people are buying it faster than we can make it, which is not fun. And we don't.
That's awesome.
Well, it's a little stressful, but we are hoping to solve that problem here in short order. But the office space itself is ready to go. It's move-in ready and beautiful. So any company within food, technology, there's so many different industries in New Orleans that would work well in that space. We just are looking for someone that is fun, and I don't know. I think that it's a cool building, and there could be a lot of good synergy. We just need to find the right tenant or potentially tenants to be on the other side.
And it could be cool because I know there are a number of food companies based in New Orleans that don't necessarily make their product in New Orleans for one of a variety of reasons. It could be a really cool place if someone just needs the office, but can collaborate with you guys about, the challenges and pollinate and connect about things that you all face as food and beverage companies.
Correct. We agree.
Cool. All right. So if somebody is interested in your space, what's the best way for them to touch with you?
Sales at El Guapo Bitters is the easiest email because it goes to several people on the team. I currently I feel like my eyeballs are on fire and I'm not the person in charge of this part of the project, but if you send it to sales@elguapobitters.com, it will get to the right people.
Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about some of the cool Mardi Gras themed marketing that will be coming out of El Guapo soon?
Well, I'm actually leaving this interview to head to the Iris Float Den where I will be interviewing the Queen Diva herself, Big Frida, which I'm excited about. But yes, we did film a huge Mardi Gras campaign. We put up a house float this year. And if you follow us on social media at El Guapo Bitters, you'll be seeing a round of interviews with very entertaining New Orleans personalities and national celebrities coming out starting, I believe, on Monday. So look out for those. There's 8 videos.
That's awesome. And I guess speak a little bit, what's the value of New Orleans to your brand? I mean, it sounds like your marketing is intertwined with the city.
It is, I really feel like I have the right category in the right city. New Orleans is really known for its cocktails. We're the home of the American cocktail, and being able to manufacture cocktail ingredients inside the city is something that holds tremendous value on a shelf. All of our bottles say handmade in New Orleans, and we have several of our top accounts that tell us if our product is beside a competitor, ours will outsell the other 4 to 1 just simply because it says New Orleans, and they really are manufactured here. So we play into that in our marketing, and we really use the city as an extra character in all of our campaigns. And we try to be good stewards of the city. We love living here, and we use it to our advantage as much as we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Krista. And we will move a little bit further uptown with Zach from Louisiana Pepper Exchange. Zach is the CFO, joined the team from Entergy, and Louisiana Pepper Exchange has really been growing by leaps and bounds lately with a product that Louisiana is really, and New Orleans is really known for, but with you guys are kind of doing it in a new way with a new name and a new iterations. So Zach, welcome, and tell us a little bit about Louisiana Pepper Exchange.
Hi, thanks for having me, Lewis. Like you said, I'm Zach Foster, I'm the CFO of Louisiana Pepper Exchange. We are a food manufacturer that specializes in pepper-based products. Our core competency is really importing pepper and mash format in bulk in sea containers and a patented shipping technology that the company owns. The company's been around for a decade plus, really serving other industrial food manufacturers. Some of you may be familiar with our brand. We launched a retail consumer-facing product, which is a ready-to-eat fresh pepper replacement about 1.5 years ago. We're currently in about 1,700 retail locations, primarily across the Southeast, Rouse's, Winn-Dixie, Walmart, with many more coming. We're really the pepper people, so we specialize in anything and everything pepper. We are based in the Lower Garden District. And do you want to move to our space next? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's the map. So there,
yeah.
The new space is right next to Walmart on Chop, and I'll show some pictures.
That's right. Yeah. So we leased an office space last year, 625 Celeste. It used to be a co-working space called the Landing Zone, and I don't know if Lewis is about to drop some other history knowledge on me or not, but I believe it was also a mattress manufacturing facility and a candle manufacturing facility at one point in time. So the building has seen a lot of different uses. So The building is in an opportunity zone, if that's important to any of you entrepreneurs out there. We're really looking to lease out some of the office space in the former co-working part of the building. Total office space is about 30,000 square feet. We've got about a half a dozen offices that look very similar to what you've seen here, that will be for rent. Looking for tenants that are going to lease for at least a year plus. We also have a third floor space, which is about 10,000 square feet. That's semi-finished. There it is. That is also for lease. On this third floor here, you have full men's and women's restrooms. There are two subdivided spaces, one in the back and one in the front, that are about 1,500 to 2,000 square feet a piece. We're kind of open and flexible, so if you're interested in leasing the entire third floor or one of the subdivided spaces, we're open to that. Everyone in the building has access to a gym that's on site. As you saw earlier in the presentation, we have a full kitchen there that we do a lot of our tastings and cuttings for prospective customers that you'll also have access to. There it is. There's the kitchen. So we've actually been displaced from this building since Hurricane Ida. The building has been completely rebuilt on the inside and will be ready for occupancy starting the first week of March. So if you're interested, reach out immediately. We'll be moving back in, I think probably right after Mardi Gras, but the space will be available on March 1st.
Awesome. So tell me what you guys were operating out of this facility for a little bit before IDA.
That's right.
Tell me what you liked about being there.
Yeah, so it's a great space. I like the convenience of the gym. It's easy access from the Pontchartrain Expressway, or if you're coming from uptown on Chapatoulas, very convenient there. For us, it's right across from our manufacturing facility as well. That's probably the primary reason we moved into the building. Pre-storm, we had a few other co-working tenants, so it was nice to just have some other faces in the building other than the people you work with every day. We do have some of those tenants coming back. We have one other food and beverage brand that'll be moving into the building with us, and we'd love to have other food and beverage entrepreneurs, so we can share resources and bounce ideas off each other.
What have you seen since you guys have been around for, like you said, about 10 years? Mm-hmm. So not exactly a brand new startup, so with a significant kind of wholesale business. What have you seen in the growth of the food industry in New Orleans in the past couple of years?
Yeah, so for food and beverage in New Orleans the past couple of years, we use the food and beverage scene in New Orleans as a sales tool for our customers who are not here. So most of our customers, like you said, are actually other businesses. So we're mostly B2B and kind of growing the consumer brand right now. But we really use New Orleans, in particular the food and beverage scene, as a tool because people want to come visit, right? They want to come experience the restaurants, both the traditional old guard and also a lot of the new concepts. So, and it's kind of a perfect fit for us as a food and beverage company, being in a culinary hub in a port city. It allows us to show our potential customers a great experience here in the city. So our facility is right across the street from the port. I'm watching a container ship right now go by. So it's a pretty powerful experience to have all those kind of confluences coming together at one point.
Well, what kind of trends are y'all seeing with pepper demand from some of your clients, either their restaurants or private label brands? What's new and what's hot?
Yeah, I think obviously spice is on trend. You can see it across all the QSRs, spicy chicken wars. I can tell you that there's a lot more innovation coming relative to spicy chicken. So just imagine putting spice in kind of other parts of the sandwich, whether it be the bread, other condiments, pickles. There are definitely some interesting things coming from a handful of different QSRs. I think the biggest trend is not getting the hottest pepper. It's about finding unique peppers from different regions that bring with it a unique story and a unique flavor profile. It's just not about the heat. So one of our probably fastest growing peppers right now is the ají amarillo from Peru. It's kind of part of the Peruvian Holy Trinity down there. So it's used on a pretty regular basis, but there are a lot of national food brands that are currently innovating with that pepper.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about your background. I know that's not your actual background right now.
My physical background or my work background?
Your virtual background.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No one wants to know about my work background. This is a picture from Colombia. This is one of the farms. So all of our peppers are purpose grown for us in Central and South America and in Mexico. Our company's founder, Chris White, has been working with growers in these regions for a decade plus. We have very close relationships. They're really strategic partners, not just suppliers or vendors to us. Many of them are also suppliers to large sauce manufacturers here in the U.S., notably some of them that are here in Louisiana.
Yes. Do all of your products come through the Port of New Orleans?
Most of them. So we also import from Mexico, and that's done by rail car and road tanker.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but this farm here, if you're having Tabasco with your dinner tonight, your Tabasco pepper may have been grown on this farm.
Very fancy. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else you want to give to the food entrepreneurial community, folks looking for space?
If you're interested, please reach out to me at zach@lapepperexchange.com. We're flexible in terms of leasing terms. We are looking for folks for longer leases, a year plus. The individual office space is a nice resource for a smaller growing brand. There is some additional kind of common space that can be used as you continue to grow, and if you have maybe some interns or flexible part-time staff that also need a space when they come into work, that's a nice additional resource that's available to you here at our facility.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Zach, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
I would like to open it up to all of our guests and to our attendees for question and answers. And I guess I'll start with just kind of like a round robin going in the order to any of the presenters. What is the best and thing about doing business in New Orleans as a food industry?
For me, the best thing about doing businesses in New Orleans is just the level of hospitality, from like neighbors to like literal people who literally work in hospitality. We kind of look out for each other. It feels good, as opposed to, I visit other places and you say good morning and they look at you like, do we know? Why are you talking to me? So I just love that.
And what's your biggest challenge in New Orleans, Sinidra?
My biggest challenge is navigating. My biggest challenge is navigating some of the processes that are in place that kind of prevent me from moving forward as a business owner.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something that we work, on. I think we've worked on with all of you all. But there's a sincere commitment to make that a little bit smoother. So you're definitely not alone. Krista, what are your what is it? Some people call it like the rose and the thorn. That's the best part.
When I got started, I was really doing this to prove to myself that I could do it. But now my favorite days are honestly the days when I mentor younger entrepreneurs that are just getting started.
Cool.
And I've been able to build some really great relationships, and I just enjoy giving back, and I try to give back more than I've gotten. But I love living in the city, and I don't know, it's just home forever. Frustrating things, it's a toss-up. Hurricanes are not fun, especially for production, and if you're manufacturing your own product, it can cause a lot of issues. And that's something that we've talked a lot about, especially since IIDA blew off a third of our roof at our old office on Chapatulas. So making contingency plans for that. And then, a lot of the conversations that I have with other entrepreneurs around town are regarding talent. It can be really hard to recruit for certain positions here, and trying to build a larger talent pool for some of these niche positions is something that we're spending a lot of time on, because our company is growing quickly and we haven't necessarily been able to find the people that we need locally. So those
That's
are
a
top
good
two.
point. NOLA BA houses 504 so maybe there are some opportunities to do some like in-person network events tailored around the food and beverage industry. And our partners at GNO Inc. Do a great job with Work NOLA. So that's definitely something interesting that we can talk on. Talent is is a very intense topic of conversation across every industry right now. That's a good point for us to take home. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the biggest asset is probably just the brand of New Orleans. Like I mentioned earlier, people love to come here and visit us. So whether that be, a customer wanting to come spend time with us, or whether that be a consumer wanting to pick up our product off the shelf because of the Louisiana or New Orleans brand.
Awesome.
And I think you know what our biggest challenges are.
We've had some fun this week.
Yeah. We struggle a little bit with the infrastructure here.
Yeah.
It can be a little hard to grow. We moved into a 25,000 square foot manufacturing facility that we're currently outgrowing. That's really like 2 or 3 buildings that have been put together over time, with 6 different roof lines that leak, and plumbing that doesn't work, and some other utility issues. And like Krista mentioned, the hurricane risk is real when you're growing a business. Every single day counts. So not having electricity for a few weeks, or not having mail, really has a negative impact on your business. So
Sure.
We're doing the same thing right now, trying to build a more resilient business model, and create more backup plans right now.
Yep, that's something that, once again, that's an every industry thing, and we need to do a better job of helping you all think about those things earlier, and give resources. And it's cool to think, you're right, there are challenges to finding buildings that are suitable for larger food manufacturing purposes. But that's been a challenge for a while. But your 3 properties that we talked about today did not exist 6 months ago, and were not available for the next crop below you. So it's encouraging to see growth. And we've also had, I spent a lot of my working on marketing and getting New Orleans East and some of the industrial areas in that side of the city ready for development. And we've had more interest in big, sometimes even speculative industrial projects, or food and manufacturing and distribution projects than definitely before COVID. COVID has really changed the game for y'all's industry, in showing that you really want to have your production space locked down and want to be near your best markets. So in the way that your facilities are new and available to entrepreneurs, I really do feel that in the next couple of years, we'll have more spaces for companies that are kind of hitting that next level, so that we can have a number of companies like you guys hitting that those next benchmarks. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to get in touch with us, and we can get you in touch with Zach, Krista, and Sinidra. But I wanted to thank you very much for joining us today. It's really cool to see one of these webinars where we have new things to talk about, and we've seen really the market evolve over the past year and a half. And we're excited to have y'all's commitment. And I do want to also thank you, the 3 of you, for your company's commitment to New Orleans, not only for your time today, but we know you can do business other places, and you're choosing to do it in New Orleans, and that's a big deal for the community. And I want to thank everybody else who joined us today. you're caring enough about the food economy in New Orleans to show up and be interested, whether you're thinking about starting a company in the middle of it or hit a couple roadblocks that we'd love to help you figure out ways to get out of. It's awesome to see the community around entrepreneurial efforts in New Orleans, and especially around food, because it's a fun thing to talk about and everybody likes to talk about it. And I've been putting out there that everybody needs to, man, my El Guapo stuff is right at my bar, like right over there. Everybody needs to be enjoying local products this Mardi Gras. And if you have friends who normally come for Mardi Gras or family and you can't come, sending them a New Orleans made care package is a great way to keep them in the season. But thank you, everybody. We'll be back in the second quarter.
Thanks for having us.
Hi,
Happy
thanks for
Mardi
having us.
Gras.
Thank